Hello, my name is Jason, and this is my submission for my assignment part 2 of the 2B TEKS assignment for Module 2. And today I'm going to be talking about which TEKS topics and skills that are in our table assignment, part 1, which skills that I'm most comfortable with, and which skills I'm the least comfortable with teaching as of right now. And so the ones I think I'm going to be most comfortable with are, well, most of them because I really like speech. It was one of my favorite classes in high school. But I think for right now, the ones that are just going to come a little bit more natural than the other ones are TEKS number 1, 2, 4, 7, and 8. And those are the main categories, and I'll go into in-depth of each one of them as the video progresses. But the first one is rhetoric, and that's basically just the influence of speeches. Also, just speech form, just the differences between an informative speech, persuasive speech, and things like that. And then the organization of speeches is another one I think I'll be real comfortable teaching, just showing the students the difference between their introduction, the body of their speech, and concluding their speech, and making sure that it just encompasses everything that it needs to. Um, Delivery is just the way that they deliver. If they're like this monotone and not looking at the audience or looking at their papers versus being connected to the audience and just being able to effectively deliver a speech, I think that's going to be one of my favorite ones to teach, particularly because I'm not a fan of public reading. I'm not a fan when someone's assigned a speech and they go up to the front of their class with their sheet of paper and they go, "Hello, my name is Jason Escamilla, and today I'm going to talk to you about this topic." And just it just doesn't seem genuine, it doesn't seem persuasive, it doesn't seem interesting. It just seems like that student did that assignment to get the grade, which of course is what many of them will probably do, but my goal is to get them excited about their speeches and to really to get them to try to just come up with something that is interesting to them but will also appeal to the audience, which is the classroom. And so I think delivery is a big deal into just when it comes to like getting the audience sold out to what the getting the audience sold out to what the speaker wants them to learn about his or her topic. And then the last one I really feel comfortable teaching will be evaluation, and that one is just I I mean, I think that evaluating a speech is fairly simple. At the end, you ask yourself, did I enjoy it? Um, and not enjoy it as in did I agree with what the speaker was saying, obviously, because sometimes there's speeches I enjoy. I think that was a really great speech, and I might not agree with the main idea, but that person presenting that speech really knew his or her stuff. They had their main ideas down, they had the content down, and they uh, just all their ideas were well organized. Their delivery was solid, and I think that once students have learned just everything that they've been taught during the semester, that evaluating a speech will be fairly simple if they've learned the concepts throughout the rest of the class. And so some of the other ones I'll go ahead and just talk about a little bit more are speech form. This is the second main point under the knowledge and skills of the TEKS. And I think just teaching them the difference between an informative speech, persuasive speech, and an entertaining speech, personal story, all those impromptu. I think that's fairly simple to just get them to understand. It's essentially just key concepts, and so And I'm saying a lot. That's not really good when you're giving a speech. So, anyways, dang it, now I'm paying attention to it. But informative speech, basically just letting the students know that that's when you're informing someone of a topic. Persuasive speech, when you're trying to convince them, the audience, to do something specific. Call of action, essentially key terms that are just vital to the subject of public communication. And then organization is really important. Uh, I'm saying dang it. Okay, organization is really important because I'm not gonna say Organization is really important just so that they understand the differences between all of their main ideas and the conclusion, transition statements, things like that. I don't want a student to go to the front of the class and just not know where they're at in their speech. I want them to be aware I'm on point one, I'm on point two, and then that way they can track their time in their speech also a lot easier. It doesn't go overboard, it doesn't go under. It'll be easier for them. It'll be easier for them to deliver their speech more effectively. Um, I think the ones that I'm gonna have a little bit more difficulty teaching. It's 10 o'clock. Not necessarily. Oh, that was my computer letting me know what time it is. Sorry about that. I think the ones that I'm going to have a little bit more difficulty with, not because it's hard, but just because I don't know how well the students are going to respond to it, and I think it'll require just a little bit more work on my part to get them interested in that step. And those have to do with planning the speech, and I'll actually go to the TEKS here. It just says the student plans the speeches. The student's expected to identify and analyze the audience and occasion as a basis for choosing speech strategies. Selects and limit topics for speech considering his or her own interests. Timeliness and the importance of the topic. Selecting and limiting purposes for speeches. Research topics using primary and secondary sources, and analyzing oral and written speech models to evaluate the topic. And I think this one's going to be a little bit more tricky to get students to do more well at, just because some of them are going to have the attitude of, oh, I don't need to plan this. I'll just wing it. And I think getting the students to really plan the speech well will make a big impact whether or not their speech succeeds or if it's a bomb. So I think that the key to getting them to plan the speech is just letting them know that there isn't one good speech in history that wasn't well because sorry, that there hasn't been many speeches that are really well done that weren't planned, and letting them know that if they want to get a grade, that they really need to focus on planning their speech. And so just presenting them the consequence of them not planning their speeches effectively, I think will get them on board. Hopefully it'll make my life easier if they do their speeches, if I tell them that. Another thing is getting a topic. As far as planning the speech, this is where they're going to be coming up with their topics. I really hope that they pick a topic that, yes, is interesting to them, but is also interesting to the rest of the class. A lot of times, if a student does a speech on a TV show, that's great, but if it's an informative speech, they need to really focus on getting the audience to see why that they should listen to the speaker. And sometimes that's hard if they pick a topic that the general public necessarily will find it a little harder to um, get involved with. So I think just a good idea for that is just for them to plan 4 or 5 different topics, and then I can individually talk to them about their topic, and we can decide from there what's best for them to do. The next one I think that will be a little bit tricky is TEKS number 5, which is proofs, basically just evidence. A lot of students will want to just use information that they find on Google, and I mean stuff on Wikipedia and stuff. Information on Wikipedia specifically. Wikipedia is one of those things that a lot of people don't like using, and for good reason. Anyone can go onto Wikipedia and just update it, but at the same time I understand students, and I've been in that situation where Wikipedia has a lot of accurate information, and I think you have to be careful, and I think that Wikipedia does a great job of providing footnotes with the original sources, and sometimes those sources just need to be ensured that they're creditable. But anyways, with that being said, I think textual evidence will be a little tricky just for them getting scholarly sources, and just getting them to see the importance of that, because some of them are just going to want to rip off just the first link that they find using a search engine, and I just want them to see the importance of getting a source that is creditable and that isn't just on the internet and could potentially have false information. The next one I think that'll be a little tricky to teach is style. I'm a big fan of style, and I've always been an enthusiastic, outgoing, pay attention to me kind of guy. Not in a forceful way, but I definitely have an outgoing style because I don't want students to get bored. So that's my style. I think it'll be hard for me to teach other kinds of styles that are a little bit different, maybe a little bit more relaxed, and it's not necessarily bad. It's just not as out there, I guess, or just uh, not as I think, well, students should be passionate about their speech either way, but just vocally, I guess, is just my style, is just having an upbeat attitude throughout the speech. And style TEKS just say distinguishing between oral and written language styles. So this is kind of goes back to what I had said at the beginning, the difference between reading a speech and actually speaking. I want them to know that there is a huge difference. Writing manuscripts to facilitate language choices and enhance oral styles. Um, and I think just them coming up with higher level vocabulary in order to communicate their speech will definitely help them have a higher. It'll sound more professional than if they had just hadn't looked up some key terms for their speech. Um, Using rhetorical and stylistic devices to achieve clarity, force, and aesthetic effect. That aesthetic is just like what's pleasing to the ear, or, well, visually is what aesthetics used mostly for. But like I was saying, everyone has a different style, and so aesthetically, um, how people use clarity to affect the aesthetic of the speech, using informal, standard, and technical language appropriately. And to me, this is just showing the students how to take technical language and make it really, really easy to understand, which I'm a fan of, and not because I'm so smart, but because I really don't understand things that are super, super technical, and I'll ask a bunch of questions until I can understand it in a very simple way. And even though this sometimes can be a weakness, I feel like it's my strength, because since I can't really understand when it's put in very technical terms, I can take something that's super technical and make it very simple for the student specifically to understand, which I think is one of the reasons why I want to become a teacher. I like taking something that a lot of people will find very complicated and just making it simple for them to understand. And so this is just using the informal, standard, and technical language appropriately, taking that technical jargon and making it not sound so scary, basically. And then the last two TEK points here are just employee previews, transition summaries, signposts and other appropriate rhetorical strategies to enhance clarity. And last one, evaluate a speaker's style in oral or written speech modules. So just transitions are important, being able to summarize what one has said. Um, I, I mean, I think that's just a matter of knowing the point of your speech, knowing how to transition from point one to point two, knowing how to sum up the basis of your speech. All of that is in the E6E, and then 6F, evaluate a speaker's style in oral or written speech models. Um, that's just being able to see how that person's style was. Did they stand behind a podium? Were they in front of the audience? Were they walking through the rows, interacting with the audience? All of those are just, I think, different styles that speakers have. And so, I think, yes, those are the 7 main uh, TEKS that are featured in the the public speaking um, requirements for students to know whenever they're done with the course. And so I hope that this covered most of the information that was needed to know. I went over which were the ones I was most comfortable with, such as speech forms, organization, delivery, evaluation, and which ones that I think I'll have a little bit of trouble with, such as proofs, style, and planning the speech, the invention of the speech. Invention is the term it's called. And so, anyways, I hope that this video was very informative and that you were able to learn a little bit more about what I'm going to hopefully teach in the upcoming years. Thank you and have a great day. My name is Jason Escamilla, and this is my submission assignment for Module 2, TEKS assignment, Part 2. Have a great day or evening if you're watching this at night. Bye.